Hi there, welcome to this video. This is Tina from TinaHeals.com, and if you have your ascendant in Aries, your moon in Virgo, and your sun in Pisces, then welcome. This is your video. So you have your ascendant in cardinal fire, Yang. You have your moon in earth, mutable, Yin. And you have your sun, a 12th house Pisces sun. It's difficult to say the least. In mutable water, Yin, right? So interestingly, before I start, I want to tell you that Aries and Pisces are two of the death signs according to esoteric astrology, because here the soul experiences death to resurrect again by fire in Aries and by deep water in Pisces. So this is very sublime. So there is a lot of change and flux and restructuring with your life. Maybe death, but remember, death, it doesn't have to be physical. For some people it could be 12th house sun, could also mean father dying young, or father unable to be there for you in the way that you might have expected or might have wanted. And or father maybe addiction, maybe addicted to something, maybe drugs, alcohol. Remember that Pisces holds the energy of the most elevated to the most depraved, and having a 12th house Pisces sun, it means that your ambitions are either very elevated, like the Bodhisattva energy of Pisces, or depraved, like some of the serial killers also have a Pisces sun. Alright, I'll be creating a whole video on serial killers and their sun signs and ascendants, maybe Mars also, so I'll get to that later. But there is a sense of death and regeneration, more so because the esoteric or soul ruler of Pisces is Pluto. So this is like really a very, very powerful and wild ride, right? So the ascendant is the degree of the zodiac which is rising on the eastern side of the horizon at the moment of your birth. And the sign on which it falls is your rising sign. This is the filter through which the world perceives you. This is the Jungian mask you wear. This is how everyone reacts to you when you enter a room. This is how you look. This is the sum total of your personality in 3D, the ascendant. And it is the first touch point that your soul makes with the world of 3D. So with your Aries ascendant, you're definitely the archetype of the leader, the pioneer, the initiator, the fire starter. And you may be great at starting things, but completions are not your, stronghold. Aries is ruled by Mars. In traditional astrology, the red planet. So red could be a vibration you are attracted to. Mars is a planet of war and strife, male competitiveness, just competitiveness, but the yang energy. But Mars is also the I do principle, okay, action principle. It's how we take action in the world. And without this, we really won't be able to do much at all. So we need a strong Mars, and you need to understand your Mars because it is your ascendant ruler. And you have a lot of energy, tremendous amounts of energy with your Aries ascendant. Restless, edgy energy. If you don't balance that out, it can come out as very many other, it can show as very many other imbalances, anger, violence, temper, and all of that. Aries ascendants, they are the infant of the zodiac, because this is the first sign of the zodiac, and the soul enters Aries with a mini Big Bang after the 30th degree of Pisces, which is the degree of archetypalization. The soul is ready to start something new, embrace something new, right? And so this is the infant of the zodiac, and a lot of the trials and tribulations and lessons and shadows of Aries has to do with this infancy and the growing up process. It's not an easy process for any of us, and we all must face it. So it's not something we can avoid. And there's also a selfish streak with infancy, because here we are thinking of self-preservation above anything else. So Stephen Forrest, the eminent astrologist, says that the goal of Aries should be enlightened selfishness. Okay, and the point of Aries is authenticity. That's why they are so blunt. That's why they say things the way it is, because they have to be authentic. To understand the Aries soul karma, you must live in alignment with this authenticity. Okay, and sometimes the question of our inherent worthiness, we tend to question that with an Aries ascendant. So if that is happening, and more so, it can be exacerbated by a Virgo moon 6th house. So keep that in check. Okay, you are as valid as anybody else. So don't let self-doubt creep in, because this can result in very many other problems like migraine and digestive related issues. Virgos, after all, your 6th house. If you have a Mars, your ascendant ruler, on the cusp of your 6th house conjunct your moon, it can be problematic, you know. Now, as I said, your ascendant is how you look. So Aries rules the head. So this is a huge part of your identity. Prominent eyes, edgy look in them, and high cheekbones, thin nose, narrow mouth, thin jawline, just very sharp and well defined and prominent facial features with Aries. Imbalances at your Mars can have you suffering from persistent acne, migraine, restlessness, hypertension, and restless leg syndrome, because you have a Sun in Aries. So I would, because Sun in Pisces, Pisces rules the feet. So a lot of Pisces, Sun, Aries ascendant, Virgo moon people can have restless leg syndrome. Migraines, because Virgo 6th house, Virgo rules digestion. What you put, if you're not putting in the correct food, you may develop this classical migraine, and other ailments, other headache related stuff. Okay, so be careful of that. Otherwise, Aries, your face is definitely your strong point, sort of your strong identity. It carries within it your identity. Okay, very, very strong eyes, and you're very intimidating, and you can lack compassion. The look in your eyes, it can be devoid of compassion. So that's something to work with. A lot of testosterone, impulsive, restless energy, swift metabolism, swift moving energy. You're not slothful, so you're swift. And that can cause accidents. So be careful with that. A lot of Aries ascendant women wear their hair short. Streaks in them. Too much of fire can burn hair. So brittle hair and all other alopecia and such stuff can occur. So nothing that coconut oil, cold pressed and extra virgin will not help. Also, yoga is a must, because you need to ground this restless energy. Otherwise, you can go the other way and swing to addictions also. Now, as I said, that stay away when Mars is making hard aspects, or any other malefic is making hard aspects to your personal planets or Saturn. Then be careful of guns, heavy machinery, fires. With your 6th house, Virgo moon, I would say take care of your health. 6th house is the house of health, service. It is, the sign, or the archetype of the servant. It's just very important to serve, to be holistic about it. And that Virgo moon understands. They're very good with detailing. Moon is your mother, your childhood, how you nurture, how you were nurtured, how you connect, your ESP quotient, your emotional quotient, all of that. This is your moon. Everyday habit patterns also the moon. So you're probably industrious having your moon in Virgo. You like to be helpful. You like to be very, very practical. This is Mercury's domain, and this is just the realm of analysis, analytics, right? So yeah, the good part of Virgo I told you, bad part judgmental, nagging, always worrying, always unsure, always second guessing, always thinking it's not good enough, always striving for perfection. Virgos need to strive, and Virgo moons can strive for that. That can be a very hopeless thing to do. You have a sun moon opposition because the polarity of Virgo is where you have your sun, and moon does not do well in Virgo, so it's a fall position. It's a difficult position. Sun doesn't do well in Pisces, so fall position. So these are problematic positions for both your sun and moon, and they are in opposition. So your parents could have been really very opposing personalities. Maybe your father was more into alcohol or narcotics, and your mother was really strict, worked hard, earned the money, and looked after the family, but not emotionally available to you. Pisces is ruled by Neptune, and of course esoteric ruler is Pluto, which I mentioned. Virgo's esoteric ruler is Vulcan, actually the moon, but the moon veils Vulcan. Vulcan is the goldsmith of the gods, and it creates alchemy within to awaken your kundalini. So that's very spiritual energy right there. And the Neptune is all about dissolving, okay, dissolution process. It is the realm of alcohol. It is archetype of the mystic, the archetype of spirituality, the spiritual leader. Sun in Pisces, you're psychic. You could be a healer with your sun moon opposition. Tarot, body work, Reiki, these are things you can look at. If your Aries ascendant energy is balanced, you can learn very many, of course you have to check the placement of Mercury in your natal chart, but you can learn very many things. You're not afraid to learn. You want to learn, right? Now, Pisces sun, you always sense the subtle energies, the energies that no one else can perceive, because you see through dimensions, you see through parallel worlds. Look at the glyph of Pisces: two fish swimming away, one towards the realm of spirit, one towards the realm of matter. So there's always this tug of war happening. And your soul is caught in the middle. One way you're being called into the realm of spirit. Pisces is truly a complex sign, often known as the dumping ground of the zodiac. But it is where you understand compassion. This is the realm of compassion and feelings. Okay, so with your Pisces sun, you should be more connected to your feeling body than, say, the last video I made, Aries ascendant and Virgo moon and Aquarius sun. You're definitely more into the subtle worlds, into the spiritual worlds, the mystical worlds, the occult worlds, ancestral healing, womb healing. You're definitely connected to all of that. And as I said, with your sun moon opposition, your emotions and your goals are, it will take time to balance them out. So healing, I see healing. Pisces is about spiritual art. So, and Pisces is not great with detailing. And it can be an escapist energy, and it can be into narcotics and alcohol heavily, even sex addiction. So that is, if you work through that energy, then it is really a very liberating energy. And you have the go-getter energy, you have the staying power, the endurance of Virgo, the detailing, the analytical mind of Virgo, and you have the emotional Christ-like sensitivity of Pisces. Pisces is the sign of the Christ. So it is about creating spiritual art, no matter what you do. In whatever, in the 12th house, you are tuned into your ancestors. You're tuned into past lives. You could even be a past life regression therapist. So thank you. Please subscribe, comment, and let me know what you think. www.tinahills.com is my website. Visit and book a reading.